Sorry about that, guys. I was just live doing the same live a few minutes ago, and I don't know what it is. StreamYard. I can't host a live stream from StreamYard anymore. Um, we had almost 100 people in there, so hopefully, uh, we get that again at minimum. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what it is. I can't host on StreamYard, guys. Gunner has to host on StreamYard, and who knows when that's gonna happen. But let a few people get back in here before we start up again. And I'll start back from the beginning. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's afternoon? If your boss trips on you for being on the phone, tell him I'll shout him out. Don't even trip. Hey, likewise, Daryl, how you doing? Make sure you guys check out all the videos I put out today on the Dubs channel as well as the Dubs channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you are subscribed, check your notifications and make sure they're on all and not on personalized. Personalized, you won't get them enough. Now, let's go ahead and Kim, yeah, I did have it's not me, it's StreamYard. I don't know what it is with StreamYard. I can't do anything on StreamYard. I always have problems with it. So let's get straight to it. So I already said it, and I'm going to start over again. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested, and his deportation is being expedited. And that's not a common thing to expedite people. There's various reasons why he's getting that, obviously. But so let's start from the beginning. Visa overstay and misinterpretation. Chavez entered the United States on a B2 tourist visa in August 2023, which expired in February of 2024. Over a year ago, it expired. So he had time. He has money. He could have tried to get it renewed, maybe go back into Mexico, come back. I don't know. But that's one thing. Now, to me, the main thing is this, because ICE always says they only go after criminals. People are going to say Chavez is a boxer, he's not a criminal, right? Now here's the thing. Criminal warrant in Mexico. Mexican authorities issued a March 2023 arrest warrant charging him with involvement in organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunition, and explosives linked to a specific cartel. That right there is enough. More than enough, right? So Mexico issues a warrant. The United States recognized it, right? The third reason, prior U.S. legal troubles. January 2024, arrested and convicted in LA for illegal possession, manufacture of assault weapons. So think about it. If Mexico is issuing warrants saying weapons trafficking, and then you get busted with an illegal firearm, that's not a good look, right? And then he had earlier offenses, which included 2012 DUI and driving without a license. So it's unfortunate, I guess, but he is getting expedited. So it says ICE considered Chavez a public safety threat and assert he is removable due to criminal history, misstatements on immigration forms, and the outstanding warfare-related warrant from Mexico. They have invoked an expedited removal process that is typically reserved for serious criminals or national security cases. That's not minor stuff, man. Well, he was arrested here, Blanquita. So if you think about it, he really should have tried to apply for a new visa here, right? Because if Mexico has a warrant for him, who knows what they're gonna do? I mean, maybe he'll be able to get out, pay his way out. I don't know, but he's on his way back to Mexico, and I stay away from this stuff because people are so emotional over it. But I know a lot of raza are gonna point to that and, oh, look at what happened here. And so I just wanted to do my part and say, hey, let's not get caught up in the whole, hey, he's only a boxer, he's not a criminal, when Mexico has a warrant out for his arrest. So what's cracking with everybody though? That's the news. That's what happened. That's where he's at. What's up, Buckshot? Food and Fallon says free Julio. Where do you free him to though? Do you free him here or let him go back home? See, that's another thing. Check this out. All these vatos that talk all that shit about people getting deported to Mexico, right? I know for a fact a lot of paisans, when I was doing time, a lot of paisans, especially that had life sentences, they were like, shit, send me back. I'll get out. Send me back to Mexico. I will get out. So when people talk all that shit, there's a lot of vatos here that are like, I can't go nowhere here in the United States. I got a life sentence. They ain't letting me go nowhere. So there's the other side of the coin. Jorge, what's cracking, big dog? Best fucking video today on educating cartoon 5 Trey. Chavez Jr. is done. He's going back and he's running the Chavez name through the mud. That's unfortunate for his father. It really is. I don't know how many of you guys saw the video of him. What was it, like maybe 2 years ago, when he was having like a psychotic episode in the hospital, all doped out. Fuck. That was bad, man. Exactly. His father is a national treasure. And if we're being honest, he's actually kind of a national treasure for both countries, Oh, yeah. I know that, Junior. I just don't like saying the names of them, but yeah. Thank you, Hip Hop Nation. Posted the link to one of my new videos. Make sure you guys go check them out, man. They are not being pushed into the algorithm at all anymore, and that's why you see me working overtime, doing more videos. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying them. Those of you that are seeing them. You know what? I actually moved all my money out of HBAR into XRP. HBAR just wasn't doing anything for me. And I said, you know what? Let me at least move it over to XRP where I am profitable. Where is he at now? He's in a detention center. I don't know which one. I don't know where, but I would assume he's going to be in Mexico very soon. Yeah, you do have to have patience with XRP. I feel like XRP is something you just put money there and park it and don't even worry about it. But the HBAR one was just not, I wasn't feeling it. Cartoon took the video of the angry dude personally, not a black thing. It's a law enforcement thing. Exactly. That's exactly what it was, man. I don't know, man. Like I've said, I've spoken to Cartoon on the phone, man. He's very respectful. He was cool on the phone. I think people sometimes they pick a poison for social media. And I can't say that's what he did, but that's my perception of what he did. When he used to talk about his neighborhood stuff and talk about prison stuff, he had a lot of different people from different ethnicities following him and digging him, and I remember when he used to get on Kev Mack's show, shout out to big Kev Mack. Same thing. But then when he started doing the whole foundation thing, the FBA thing, they have a specific way of looking at Mexicans and whites and even blacks that aren't from America. It's very hateful, but to each their own, man. If it helps them somehow, then more power to them. Ezekiel, thank you, big dog. Yeah. I've always tripped out on them. When people want to use the white man's science in certain aspects and then disregard it in the majority of aspects. When they want to use the white man's books in certain arguments that they agree with, but then disregard the vast majority of it. I don't think it works that way, I really don't. I think the more you study, the more you read, the more you'll start seeing a pattern, and then you start realizing this has to be true or that has to be false, whatever, right? What's up, Ray? The homie Ray. Hey, Zico, is that another one? No, that's the same one. Al Rocket. Thank you, Rocket. I appreciate that, big dog. He said that cha-ching was crispy. That's right. Is Gunner doing good or is he not? Gunner went live earlier. Did you miss it? Ray said, "What's going on in here today? Right here chilling, Holmes. You know what's up?" I do have email. I just don't post it anymore. I used to have an email up for people to get at me, and then they started sending all kinds of weird shit through email. So anybody that wants to try to send me a DM, a video, anything like that, you got to go through Discord now. That is Super Ray. Super Ray. He's gonna wind up with that name, Super Ray. Some people are saying that his name should be Ray Moner. What? Oh no, he's on. Yeah, he's going on vacation, big dog. He's already headed out. I just talked to him right before I went live. The first live, the live that didn't work out. Yeah, go ahead and put the Discord up for me, please. Thank you. Ezekiel, here another one for beers for the 3-day weekend. Homie, I can't drink. Thank you. I can't drink for 3 days straight anymore. Jeez. Thank you. Joe gifted 1 membership. Bam. Zapata Vive. You received a free membership thanks to Joe. Appreciate that, Joe. Special effects Ray. Raymond. That's Raymond. There's the Discord link. Whoever was asking for my email, click onto the Discord, sign up for that. And it's kind of like Facebook. If you don't know about Discord, it's kind of like Facebook, IG, TikTok, everything all in one. Hey, shout out to Fresno. Thank you, Brian. You know what? I do like Battlefield to an extent. I think once I understand the controls on my controller, like how do I play it up? How do I drop ammunition? How do I pick up ammunition? Stuff like that. I think I got to dial in my sensitivity. Then I think it'll be fine. I just got to get a crew on there that we run together because I notice I keep running around and I don't know what's what and where I got to go, and I get downed and nobody comes to save me. So I just every time I get down, I just get out of there. Blackie, gracias, homie. I appreciate that. Read the leaderboard so you can feel good. Sam Bermudez, thank you, big dog. Let me read the leaderboard. Who is it? Ezekiel is number 1. Sam is number 2, and Al Rocket is number 3. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Those are the top fans right now. It says that's not my word. That's what YouTube's calling it. We got 141 in the building and 48 likes. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Battlefield is going to be good. The battlefields have sucked for a while. I'll run it with you guys. There you go. The movement is what I don't like. It kind of reminds me of a little bit better version of movement than World War II, Call of Duty World War II. Ezekiel said, "Yay." Damn. So today, Gunner's not gonna go live. He might jump in the live. I'm wondering if I should buy some beers tonight. I do not want to be drinking for 3 days straight, though. I'm gonna tell you guys that right now. I'm not as young as I used to be. Vancouver, what's up? I see you out there, homeboy. Alpha, right here, chilling. Just talking about the arrest of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Seeing how everybody's doing. A beer with a bolsita. I don't fuck around. You need me to start up a series on Mexica history. So I've actually done several videos on Mexica history and nobody watches them. And the thing with YouTube is when you put out videos that don't really get views, you kind of get like put in a weird zone for YouTube. Because you got to remember, I'm their business partner. And so if I'm not bringing in money, then I'm not a good business partner. I guess that's the way they look at it. Talking about actually talking about bolsita real quick. So hey, what's up, Eastside? Somebody had said, basically insinuated that I was a liar when I said I didn't do drugs in prison because he said that I got high. The Bulldogs got me high. They did. I smoked weed probably 3 times in prison. And I tried that KJ shit the Bulldogs gave me. Fucking Bulldogs tried to kill me with that shit, right? 2 times, 2 days in a row, right? And by 1996, I didn't smoke tobacco, I didn't drink coffee, and I did no drugs. So that's for the guy. Oh yeah, I didn't drink alcohol. I hope I said that because that was the one that made me say fuck everything. But that's for the guy that thinks I have to sit here and lie. Like there's been a guy on here that did time with me that said I didn't do dope. So I don't understand. Yeah, but you said it in the videos. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do drugs. I got high a couple times off. Like I said, I tried that fucking KJ shit, and I smoked weed a couple times. Actually, one of my favorite memories is um smoking that weed, smoking that joint with the homie Shanky. And he's the homie that the cops killed in the riot a few months later. Did I grow up in Santa Barbara? See, it's hard to answer that question. So here, let me just answer it this way, and then you tell me where I grew up, right? So I was born in LA County. I was born in the San Gabriel Valley, right? When I was 3 years old, my mom came over here to Santa Barbara with my dad. My mom was from Monte. My dad's from Santa Barbara. He's from the east side, right? So when I was 3 years old, 1977, we came over here. When I was 13 years old, I started going to jail. By 15, I started doing state time. So I have more time in jail systems than I have on the streets. So where did I grow up? That's a great question. I'm from Santa Barbara though, from the west side. Balloon or cartoon just posted and said it's a war. Well, that's what he wants. He wants it for views. That doesn't mean that I have to engage. You know what I mean? I've said what I had to say. I haven't said anything disrespectful. He put words in my mouth that never came out of my mouth. I haven't put any words in his mouth. He calls us Mexicans rather than Mexicans. He's okay with his comment section disrespecting Mexicans blatantly. That's fine with him. Um, he has no problem talking bad about Mexicans, whites, Asians. He actually has a video up, and there's an Asian woman in the thumbnail, and he has some weird words like to make fun of Asian people in the thumbnail, in the title of the video. So, good luck with that, Holmes. I don't deal with negative energy, but now and then, maybe I'll respond. You know. Jorge says Dubs always make sure he says he's from the west side. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at my homeboy Ray. I grow up in Santa Barbara. What's up, homie? But put an E in there, homie. You grew up in Santa Barbara, fool. This is what I'm talking about. Ray does shit, Holmes, where you're like, come on, Ray. Exactly, Kim. Kim said, who's cartoon? Exactly. That's fucked up, Eastside. Oh, shit. But that's funny though. I may watch his video and see how he reacts because I came with facts. My video was clear. 44 families founded Los Angeles, and he said black people did. Not all 44 of the not all 44 of the settlers were black. So how is it that only one ethnicity founded the city of Los Angeles and named it a Spanish name? They didn't name it a Native American name. It wasn't an Indigenous America name, right? It wasn't an African name. It was the guys in charge, the Spaniards. They're the ones that named it. You can't say that one group out of a bunch of different ethnicities founded something. It's weird. What's up, Cactus? That dude, see, people keep asking me to do a video on Mexican history, but nobody watches it. You know? Now, if I was to make up stories and sprinkle in a tiny bit of truth and make up a bunch of lies and say that we created the whole world, it would get negative attention, but I'm not into having negative attention. Pismo and Fresno. You lived in Pismo and Fresno? Put it on Dub's World Channel. Well, the Dub World Channel, I'm trying to stick to the gaming. There's really no the money's really low over there compared to what it was, but I just don't want to do stuff over there that's gonna seem like where YouTube starts tripping out on that sneak diss shit. Who's sneak dissing? Aiden, who's sneak dissing? Do 420 says, "Hey Ray, I want to drink with you, dog. You seem funny." Oh, he's fucking hilarious. It's not always intentional, but he'll make you laugh. He wants me to do a story, and I was going to record that story today. It's a story. I'm not going to get into it here, but it's a story when one day we stole my mom's car. Yeah. Four beers left over. Shit, I got nothing but look at my refrigerator. I got nothing but sodas in that bad boy right now. Can't even see it. Oh, over there. Look at I got sodas and waters in the refrigerator right now. That's it. I have some beers in there tonight. Make sure Ray's wearing a diaper if you drink with him. Oh, booty scooting ass. I held the chipotle down. I did. So what's up with everybody, man? Today's everybody's Friday, right? Jorge says, my older brother and I stole my dad's ride. Yeah. Ray wants me to tell the story when we stole my mom's car. The Hungry Man review was hella funny. They call it Hungry Man because after you try to eat it, you can't finish it and you're still hungry. That's what the fuck they call it Hungry Man for. They were tripping with that, but the corn, I hooked it up. That was the best thing on there. Well, look at Giovanni. They told me to get the chicken one, but they told me don't get beans. I messed up and got beans. Now a bunch of people are telling me to try which one did you say? Barbacoa. See, don't get me to try chipotle again. It was better than the Hungry Man's one. Nothing but the best. Valentina or Tabasco sauce? I like both. Tabasco sauce. You know what I really like Tabasco sauce on? I want ones in the chat if you agree. Clam chowder. Tabasco sauce and clam chowder, and you put the little crackers in there. That's intercourse right there. There we go. We got a few ones in there. I'm telling you, clam chowder with Tabasco is bomb. Tabasco goes good with certain things. If you get you can get avocado, right? Cut it in half, squeeze lemon on it, put salt and pepper and Tabasco, fire. You can get some crab meat, smash it up in a bowl, put a gang of lemon, salt and pepper, Tabasco, scoop that into an avocado. intercourse. But in most other occasions, I'm gonna choose either Valentina or Tapatio. Lately, I've been doing more Valentina. Only güeritos eat clam chowder, you thought? Shit, you thought wrong. I'm from the beach, big dog. Cholula, I don't really, I haven't had Cholula in a long time. I think the last time I had Cholula was probably prison. Yucateco in prison is the last time I had that. You know which one's good too? Yucateco. The habanero sauce, the green one tastes bomb. The brown one's hotter, but the green one tastes bomb. 150 in the chat, 70 likes. Thank you guys, man. Canadians can't eat sriracha. They'll fucking break out in hives or what? They get a sunburn if they eat it. Hey, what's up, Doom? Doom says we need more Mexican history, big dog. You know, I studied a lot in the shoe. That was my main thing, studying Mexican history. But I mainly focused on ancient Mexican history. I did some of the revolution. You know, I think a lot of people. There's a homie in here, Zapata Vive. I don't know if you're aware of this. You know, a lot of people from America, right, especially vatos from Southern California, they like Zapata more because he was the army, led the general of the South, and they like him more than Villa. Villa was the general of the North. It has nothing to do with California. But a lot of people aren't aware of this. And this is not a diss on him, but if we're going to keep it real, we got to keep it real. Zapata walked away from the revolution on 2 occasions. He left. He said he was done with it. And both times he came back, and then he got set up, and they killed him. Villa never stopped fighting. Um, Villa was a treacherous dude, and I'm not just saying that because that's my last name. Because he borrowed our last name. That's not his real last name. What's up, George? Doom, I have some in the past. You can go back and find them. I actually had a book, one of my favorite books, and I said I would read like sections or chapters and videos and then discuss it, and nobody was watching them, so I had to just move on. Hey, JTB, what's cracking, big dog? What would it take for me to eat some balut? I'm not gonna eat that. There's no fucking way. I would probably projectile vomit if I tried. Yeah, Zapata, what happened? Why was it deleted? No, no, no. He did. No, he backed away a couple times. He backed away a couple times, 2 times. But he came back. He always came back. And I mean, it didn't matter because look at what Villa. Even if he would have just, backed away and stayed backed away, the government would have still. It's all good, JTB. The government would have still took him out. Okay, Ron McDonald. So what he didn't say the word navigated. He said the blacks told him how to get here. Um, I'll tell you what video is right now, so you can go and listen yourself. It's shit. It's we blacks founded the city of Los Angeles. It's that video. He says that it was the blacks on the ship in 1492 that showed him how to get to the Americas. Nobody could ever say that Aztecs were saints. Juan, every ethnicity on earth was enslaved at one point or another. Yeah, it's absolutely wrong, Ron McDonald. And so if he's gonna say that there's it's on and all that, just have your facts right, homie. I'm not somebody that glazed over history. I actually spent time learning history. You know, um, so go ahead, Holmes. In 1492, Holmes, in 1492, no black person was treated as a human being. That's a fucked up thing of history, but it's true. So how is a dude like Christopher Columbus gonna allow someone like that he doesn't consider an equal to tell him what to do? It's not gonna happen. He wouldn't have allowed a Mexican or a Mexica or anybody else to tell him what to do and where to go on his ship. You know, we were enslaved as well. When you look at the history of America, when people talk about the slavery of America, um, Mexicans were lynched as well. Mexicans weren't allowed in restaurants as well. But that's in the past. That should not be an excuse for us not to prosper. Those that still use those things, that's just an obstacle in your path. Figure out a way around that, man. There's a book. Anybody interested? There is a book called Conquest of America by Svetan Todorov. I've mentioned that book a bunch of times on here. Svetan Todorov, Conquest of America. He is a French Russian. So he had no dog in the fight. That book makes it abundantly clear. Out of every people on the earth that have been enslaved, that have been conquered, no people were ever done the way the people of the Americas were done. They tried to completely eradicate the indigenous religion, the indigenous languages, customs. They've never done that to any other people on the planet when they conquered them. But we're not making an excuse for that, right? That happened, boom. We have the world is in our palm. You know what I mean? The world is what you make of it. So I'm not making no excuses. It happened. Here we are. What's cracking? I haven't, you know what, Eastside? I haven't looked into that. I keep hearing about that. Matter of fact, here, let me write it down. Alligator Alcatraz. Let me write it down, man, to see what the hell they're talking about. There. On a totally different note, develop race slowly into your stories, kind of like Kramer or Newman from Seinfeld. Sometimes slower burns end up burning hotter. But I don't have that many stories of him. Well, Ron, what he said was, and I've read the same thing. 44 settlers, and he said that 26 of them were black. Moses, how do you know? What did I do right now that where you were able to figure it out? Did you watch me hitting the bag? Hey, what's up, Kyrie? How you doing? I'm actually ambidextrous, but I do just about everything with my left hand. I can't throw a frisbee with my left hand, though. That's weird. I can bowl with either hand. I fight southpaw, shoot a basketball, lefty, like shoot pool that way. Oh no, I roll with my right hand. I remember when I was a kid in school and they were teaching us how to write. And I grabbed the pencil with my left hand, and my teacher said, "Don't use that hand. Nobody uses that hand, or else I would be writing left-handed." Exactly. JTB says, I trip out on people who let a bump in the road in history dictate their lives. I'd never let anything that happened to Italians or Sicilians in the past dictate my life. Facts. Ron McDonald, Chat GPT, when Los Angeles was founded September 4th, 1781, Los Pobladores consisted of 44 people from 11 families. Yes. Yeah, that he said that 26 of them were African. Yeah. But as you see, it's 44 people from 11 families, but he's disregarding every family that's not black. Look at the title of his video. Blacks founded Los Angeles, but they chose to name it a Spanish name. It's weird. It's weird. So when he says um that the history books are whitewashed, well, he's trying to whitewash them as well. You can't do that. It's weird. Natural light. Thank you, big dog. Somebody asked, was Caesar Jr. illegal? Okay, so Cesar Chavez Jr. is a Mexican citizen. He was here on a visa. The visa expired over a year ago, but there's a warrant out for his arrest from the Mexican government for some pretty serious stuff. So he's being sent back to Mexico, and Mexico will deal with it. More than likely, Mexico is going to cut him loose. Absolutely. Ron McDonald. So when Cortez came in 1519, he brought blacks with him. And so since 1519, there have been black people in the Americas. There's no question about that. And they had children, and there are for a fact, since 1519, there are African descendants. There's no one can deny that. So to say that they were a part of forming it, absolutely, them and some people that are descended from the natives and people that were Spanish, they all founded the city. But that's not the title of his video. That's not the narrative of the video. Everyone was a slave owner. Juan says elite Aztecs were slave owners and bullies. Absolutely. Everyone has done that throughout time. You know, um, there's nobody can deny that. Um, and like I said, everyone was enslaved at one point or another throughout history. George P. He shouldn't have took the dive. He should have beat that dude up and then boom, leave on a good note. But I think in the clauses with Jake Paul, if you beat him, you don't get paid as much. Let's see. Ezekiel is still number one. We got Sam number two, and Junior SGV is number three on the top three. Carson, so here's the thing. I said this last night on the live, and I'll say it again here. With the new big, beautiful bill of Trump, right? How about we give it a few months to see what it actually does? And then after a few months, let's critique it. There are a lot of talking heads that are saying it's going to do this and it's going to do that. They're the same ones that were saying the tariffs are going to do this and they're going to do that. And they did the complete opposite. They've actually been very good for the country and the economy. The tariffs have. So let's let this bill play out. And in a few months, if it's wrong, then let's talk some shit. I think that's only right? No one likes to be told what to believe, right? If your boss told you what to believe, would you do it? Hey, man, fuck you. You're my boss, motherfucker. You ain't my brain, right? So don't let these talking heads try to be your brain. Sam, so they have a new thing on here. It's called Top Fans. So it does like the top 10 fans. They're calling them fans, not me. Natural Light. Gracias. Appreciate that. He said, you all big does. What's happening, homeboy? Ezekiel dropped down to number 2. Somebody got him right now. What about Elon wanting to start a third party? Well, in all actuality, it might be a good thing. It just depends on which party it pulls from the most, right? Um, but I don't think Elon is doing it with the best of intentions. I think I don't know him. None of us know him. We can't just go by what people um report about him. But you know how when like somebody says something about somebody and then somebody else says something about, and then you're kind of like, wait a minute, can they all be wrong? So they say he has a humongous ego and that anything that he views as a slight, um, he takes it very, very personally. Well, so JTB says Elon starting or funding a new party would end up being the billionaire party. Well, that would hurt the Democrats because the vast majority of billionaires and millionaires in this country are Democrat. You know, they like to say that the Republicans are the party of the rich, but the facts remain that more billionaires and millionaires are registered Democrats. So if Elon does that, then he's just going to destroy the Democrat Party. Alan, I would say two. I would say two. Alan says, I think you should have to serve in the military for at least 4 years before you can run for a public office. I think two. But I think everybody should have to do 2 years in the military. Ron says, I'm an independent, but I wouldn't mind a progressive party. We need a third. Hey, Natural Light, thank you for becoming a channel member, big dog. Whole Mangles. Whole Mangles is in the chat. Where's he at? Hey, we got to get on there and search for that guy. Oh, he was on PC. He wasn't on console. Well, Richard, yeah, Trump didn't serve in the military. Either did Clinton. Either did a lot of former presidents. They all had an excuse. So I always trip out when people point to the president they don't like. You know, I couldn't stand Joe Biden. Joe Biden was in politics for 50 years and did absolutely nothing. The only bill he got passed that really did something was a bill that targeted minorities. The way he described blacks in the past, the fact that his main mentor was a KKK member, Robert Byrd, and he spoke the eulogy at Robert Byrd's funeral. But you don't hear me ever talking about if somebody brings him up, then we'll talk about it. But I didn't care. Like he was the president. Okay, we'll suffer through it for 4 years. I don't think anybody thought he'd get any more than that. Doom. Dubs, what do you think about women not being allowed to vote until they're obligated for military duty? Why be able to vote to go to war if you don't have to fight? I don't agree on that, and I'll tell you why. If we start, um, if we start allowing people to be excluded from things based on gender, race is next. That's what'll happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like with the gun bans. People fight so hard against any gun being banned because as soon as you ban one, you say, okay, all right, you know what? You're right. People shouldn't be able to get an AK, for an example, right? Once they say that, then they're going to say, okay, all guns, everything, you know, any ARs, no ARs. And then it turns into handguns. And then you know what happens after that? The only guys that have guns after you outlaw guns is outlaws. And they're going to know that there's not a house on this motherfucking block full of rich people that has a gun. But I got one. We don't want that. So I'm not somebody that I don't think we should take anybody's rights from them, but I think we should understand what our rights are, and people should understand that rights aren't like, when people say with the protests, for example, right? That it's a right to protest. It is a right to protest peacefully, factually. That's a peaceful protest is protected by the Constitution, right? As soon as you start lighting shit on fire, breaking into shit, you are no longer peacefully protesting, and your rights are thrown out the window because you threw them out the window. And so that's my thing. When people are always talking about the Constitution and talking about this right and that right, you have to understand the limits. They're not fucking in every single case you can apply it. That's ridiculous. Cartoon just dropped his video. The title, little guy title. Oh, the title got me laughing. I thought you said little guy. I was saying, I'm not surprised he's gonna say little guy. Let me look at the title. Let's see what he's got in store. Let me see if I can find him. Cartoon and dubs is war. He has 581 views in 31 minutes. All right. That might be 1,000. The numbers you guys see, especially in like the first few hours, are not the actual numbers. So I'll say he probably has 1,000. Let's see. I have over 2,000. So I mean, here's the thing: if you go back and look at his video the other day of when I reacted, he was salivating. The fact that I responded to him is what he wanted because he knows it's views. I'm not going to get as many views off of his name. He'll get more off of me. They said, forget him, do more eating content. I, I just didn't appreciate the fact that somebody's going to rewrite history and minimize what razas, what we have done. When he said that the Spaniards came over here and just kicked our ass, had their way with our ancestors, for just like either ignorant to the facts or excluding the facts that there was like 400, there were hundreds of thousands. They say 400 to 500,000 indigenous people that were fighting alongside the Spaniards because they were tired of the Triple Alliance, which the Mexica were the dominant partner in the Triple Alliance, right? And what the Spaniards were during that war basically were like special ops. So they would tell, this group attack over here, you attack over there. And when they noticed, oh shit, our people are losing over there, the natives that are our allies are losing over there, they would rush over there on their horses with their cannons, you know what I'm saying? Weaponry that our people didn't have. They would quell it down and then bounce back out. They weren't doing the heavy lifting. They were basically special forces. And had they not had those hundreds of thousands of indigenous people helping them, there is no fucking way whatsoever they would have won. But as I said in my video, it is always our own people who fuck us. It was not white men going into Africa capturing Africans. It was Africans capturing Africans and selling those Africans to white people. Our own kind is who fucks us, which goes back to my very first video when he said the black and brown don't have unity. And I said the black don't have unity within their own community. The brown don't have unity within their own communities, right? But there's no race wars going on in California prisons right now. Haven't been in a long time. There are no race wars going on in the streets of California. Haven't been in a long time. Now you got this dude in Alabama talking about all the racial shit in California. You're not here. Your homeboys are not saying that. The black content creators that are from here are not saying that. It's just weird that somebody that's not here is pushing this hatred. That's just, I don't want that energy. If that's his whole energy nowadays, he didn't used to be like that. If that's his whole energy nowadays, I really don't want to engage in him. Fuck that. Ezekiel, a natural light, gave you a membership, homeboy. Congratulations. Hey, JTB got one too. I didn't see who put that one. You thought it was gonna be Carl's Jr. No, shit, Carl's Jr. is good. No, I want to do reactions. If I'm gonna do a food reaction, something I have never ate. You know what I mean? Something I might not like, but I damn sure I'm not gonna eat that balut. Why did they get Chavez? So let me just, for those of you that are just, I'll let me read the exactly what was said. That way, for those of you that are just getting here that missed out on it. First, visa overstay and misrepresentation. Chavez entered the United States on a B2 tourist visa in August 2023, which expired in February 2024. So his visa expired over a year ago. In April 2024, he applied for permanent residency via marriage to a U.S. citizen, but provided fraudulent information in the application. So let me see. This to me is the main one. Criminal warrant in Mexico. Mexican authorities issued a warrant March 2023 charging him with involvement in organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunition, and explosives. And he was busted in January 2024 in the United States, arrested and convicted in Los Angeles for illegal possession and manufacture of assault weapons. So they're going to expedite him back to Mexico so Mexico can do whatever they want to do with that warrant they issued. And I'm pretty sure Mexico is going to cut him loose. Oh, shit. We'll go another 8 minutes and then call it a day. Dead Mike says allegedly. Yeah, allegedly Mexico did a warrant, allegedly. Canelo's being investigated. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. But I don't want to have that conversation. Am I going live with Gunner later? I don't know. Gunner, as you guys know, is headed on vacation with family. Dead Mike says, I'm glad he lost the fight. Then I wish he would have won the fight and left on a win. Because they may never allow him to come back in for a fight now. Hey, that's right. Natural Light says, hey, Dubs, I finally got my card to work on your channel. George P, no, it wouldn't be for that. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine being from Mexico. I'm sure you can imagine how they would try to tie him into something. Isn't Spanish a white man's language? It is. Yeah, Cesar Chavez's son. Yeah, he's been arrested. And his deportation is being expedited to get him back to Mexico as soon as possible. Hey, what's up, Chicali's finest? Gordon Ramsay has frozen meals. When I was in prison, I used to watch all of his cooking shows. Everybody get all bent out of shape the way he talks. Man, do what you're supposed to do. He ain't gonna yell at you. And I used to be like, when I get out, if they ever let me out, I'm fucking eating one of his. I'm gonna go to one of his restaurants. She got a frozen meal. I'll do that. Great helm, and we all didn't speak that language. It's only certain people that spoke that language. So when you hear the word Aztec, Aztec is exactly the same as modern day Hispanic. Aztec just meant that they all spoke Nahuatl. That's all it meant. But there were other there were other languages spoken. JTB says, trip out. I was in the county one time and a white skinhead Spaniard came in and we were trying to run him down on who he wanted to run with, and he chose to run wood. He spoke little English, by the way. No, and um when I was in the shoe, I was in a pod at one time with some very, very, very recognizable legends. Like their names, like if I was to say for the whites, right? And when new whites would come into the pod, they would give them studies. And one of the main studies they gave them was Spanish. And they would tell them to watch Univision for at least an hour a day. And one time, one of them asked on the tour, "Hey, why are we learning Spanish?" And he said, because it's a white man's language. It's also a way to be communicating with, raza and showing respect. It was just, different reasons, but that's a fact. That's a European language. I haven't, Giovanni. Danny Loco says I read it on somebody. Who did I read on? That's the part I always trip on. So it was a PC gang member was the first person to ever say that. Now you got all these so-called actives who don't do homework and they're regurgitating what a PC gang member said. A PC gang member that's never done time with me, was never on a level 4, and was never active. That's what you guys quote? I'm from a different era, Holmes. You got to know what you're talking about. I'll tell you what, the things they accuse me of, I would never be on YouTube if that was the case. It's common sense ain't all that common though, just really isn't. You got about 3 more minutes. Did he get jammed up going through TSA? I doubt it. I haven't talked to him. I talked to him right before I went live, so I talked to him about an hour and 10 minutes ago. You work overnight? Okay. Natural light's gonna go to sleep. Hey, what's cracking? Constitutionalists. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. We got 150 in the building. Kentucky's. How you gonna run woods and not speak English? Juan says, shout out to white Spaniards. Once upon a time, they were the most dominant males on the planet. Who said that? That's racist. The fuck? Why? How? Who determined it? Damn, he's just coming in here throwing fucks everywhere. Damn, Takis, relax, big dog. We're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up, man. Thank you guys. We all have Spaniard blood. I have Irish blood, Portuguese blood, Mexican blood. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. I don't know for sure if I'm going live tonight. If we're going live, I don't know yet. I gotta wait for Gunner to touch down. Let me know what he's gonna do. I will be grabbing beer. I don't know if it's for gameplay. I don't know what's going on, but everybody, please be safe. This is gonna be a long weekend. Don't get in no trouble, man. That said, I'll catch you guys later, man.